the first time I ever met Tom Arnold, it was on the phone, and it was a prank call. It was I was an open micer back then. This is the early '90s, and another comedian at the open mics worked at a nice hotel in downtown Seattle, and he said, "Hey man, you guys know that Planet Hollywood opening that's happening? All the stars are at my hotel." And I go, "Yeah, like who?" And he goes, "Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold." And I go, "Tom Arnold is at your hotel?" And he goes, "Yeah." The big one. And Tom Arnold had just killed it in 9 months and True Lies. He was hilarious. And when I get home that night, I looked up the phone number for the Hilton, and I said, "Hi, Tom Arnold, please." And this lady goes, "Okay, just one moment." And she put me through. I didn't record it. I was working in radio at the time.
Right.
I was working for Bob Rivers, Twisted Radio, and phone picks up, and I hear, "Hello," and I go, "Tom, it's Sam Kinison." Sam Kinison had been dead for 5 years, and Tom Arnold goes, "Hey, buddy, how you been?" It's good to talk to you.
Right in.
"Tom, I need your help in the afterlife. Whatever you need, buddy, just tell me what you need." And I go, "Well, what I need is some cocaine, and I want to give you instructions, so I want you to follow me. First of all, I need you to front me the cash because I don't have any cash. And then secondly, and this is where it gets tricky, I want you to purchase the cocaine. I want you to get on a plane, and I want you to fly back to Los Angeles. And when you get back to Los Angeles, I want you to drive to Jerry Lewis's house. And when you get to Jerry Lewis's house, knock on his door. And when he opens the door, I want you to take the cocaine and put it in the small pocket of his pants, and I'll have it when he gets here in 3 weeks." Oh! And then I stopped and I said, "I'm sorry, Tom, my name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian, dude. I am a huge fan of yours." And he goes, "Man, that impression is so good. I need to call my sponsor right now." That's how good that is. What is your name?" And I said, "It's Craig Gass." And he goes, "Do you have like a tape or something I can look at?" And I said, "Yeah, dude, I'll drop off the tape." And he called me like a week later and said, "Hey, man, I think you're really funny. If you ever need anything, here's my phone number, here's my email address." And then I never called him.
Yeah. I don't know what Tom Arnold really would have done for you, but I like Tom. He's a good dude, and he's been on the show a bunch of times, and he's always one of those guys that afterwards you're like, he's just such a likable guy. He's a nice guy. Yeah.
And one of the most honest dudes on the planet.
I saw a video the other day on Instagram of him on a podcast recently telling a story. You said 9 months. That was the movie he did with Hugh Grant, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said him and Hugh Grant became inseparable best friends after that. And they went to a party, and he's like, Hugh Grant's the biggest star in the world at the time. I'm doing okay because I got True Lies and 9 months. And at the party, we run into Madonna. And Madonna says there's an after party. And then at the after party, she's like, of course, her and Hugh Grant are all over each other. And Madonna says, you guys want to come up to my suite? He's like, so we go up to the suite. And on the way up, I said, listen, Hugh, I'll back out. I'll go out. And he goes, no. And he goes, I don't want to ruin this. And he goes, you're going to watch me bang Madonna.
No way.
He goes, so we go upstairs. We're smash drunk. Madonna says she's going to go in another room and change. He goes, and then while she's changing and she's taking forever, we notice that there's just all this Louis Vuitton luggage. And there's a big cake, and it is like we're cutting pieces of the cake and eating the cake, and then we decide to go through her luggage, and she travels with her own silverware, and we're stealing spoons. He goes, and at one point she comes out, and I'm standing there, and I got a piece of cake in my hand, spoons in my pocket, and she goes, what are you assholes doing? And they were like, and she kicked them out. She kicked them both out of the room. And Tom Arnold's like, I'm sorry you never get to bang Madonna. And he goes, Tom, everybody's banged Madonna. We have her silverware. She got mad because the cake was for her brother's birthday. It was a surprise, and they were bringing the brother up to the room, and Tom Arnold ruined it by eating the cake. I thought that was so much better story than banging Madonna.
Oh my God. He is bothered by what I did with the impression of him because, and I've done it with you guys at the Super Bowl, and I'll just,
we almost set Steve-O almost had a heart attack.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
And it actually started with Steve-O, and then I started turning Tom Arnold into a character, and I do it sometimes on Howard's show. And the thing they won't let me do that I think is a really funny angle is that Tom Arnold, because I go to the Super Bowl every year, and friends of mine will be broadcasting Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's nobody in the media center. You guys know. You guys were there this year. And So my friends who work in sports radio will say, "Hey, can you join us and pretend to be somebody famous?"
Yeah.
So it sounds cool back in Des Moines. And the only remotely sports guy I can do an impression of is Tom Arnold. And I'll go full-blown Tom Arnold and go, "Hey, guys, it's exciting to be here at the Super Bowl. And a lot of famous people are coming into town. I was actually at a Cocaine Anonymous meeting last night with Willie Randolph and Brett Favre. And Brett's a big cokehead. And then I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but his sponsor is Marv Albert. Marv's addicted to upskirt porn. Again, I shouldn't say that out loud. And every year the internet will attack the real Tom Arnold and go, "Dude, it's supposed to be anonymous. What's wrong with you?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then when I do it on Howard, I've written out ideas where I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if Tom Arnold would just be just kind of confused? Like I was I went and performed for the troops overseas, and I was at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting with the Taliban and a guy named Kareem Abdul. You know, maybe he was the basketball player. I'm not sure. Like he just confused who he saw at the NA meetings. Yeah. But the real Tom Arnold doesn't like that I do that, and he will fight every single person on the internet and go, "Did you notice that Sam Kinison was also on the air? And that guy's been dead for 30 years, you idiot. That wasn't me. That's a comedian named Craig Gass. I wish
those
he would
guys
stop."
are so serious. Steve-O was very upset when we did that to him in the studio. He was like, because you're on the phone talking about relapsing as Tom Arnold, and Steve-O is in the studio with us, and Steve-O's looking at me going, like appealing to me as a bro, going, "Hey man, cut it out." And I know it's a joke, so I'm like, "Nope, ramp it up." You know, I thought that was going to ruin our relationship.
Dude, 2 of the craziest prank calls I've ever made was on your show. Yeah. The other one was Bert.
What would he? Oh, it was Bert Tracy Morgan. What
was Tracy Morgan? There was this thing where Bert would tell a story about Tracy Morgan,
right.
But he was afraid of the story getting out there. And then
Jay Moore started telling the story.
Jay Moore started telling the story, and then Jay Moore started putting himself in the story, and so I was in studio with you. Bert calls in to promote a gig that he's doing in like a week. And you said, "Hey, man, Tracy Morgan is here." And I go, "What's up, Bert? I'm mad at you. I'm going to kick your ass next time I see you." And he's like, that's a really good, I don't know why it sounds like Tom Arnold right now.
Yeah.
That's a really good Tracy Morgan impression. I go, "No, it's Tracy Morgan." And you go, "Yeah, Bert, it's really Tracy Morgan." And we just kept pushing it. And I said, "You know how you never see?" I was trying to think of like, who do we know that I could say to make it more real?
Right. I remember you. Yeah.
And I said the name of a comedian, and I can picture the guy's face right now.
Was it Tony Woods?
It wasn't Tony Woods.
No, it was a black guy.
It was a black guy. And it was, and I said, "You know why you haven't seen that dude?"
Right.
"I killed him, bro." I killed him. What I didn't know is that guy had just passed away. And there was a long pause, and Bert goes, "Okay, I'm really sorry about I didn't really mean to." And he started apologizing on the air, and then we did the big reveal, and I called Bert and said, "Dude, I am so sorry." And I still have the voicemail from Bert saying, "Don't apologize." He's like, "You scared me. That was great radio. Don't ever apologize for doing something funny."
That's funny.
Yeah, dude.
That's great.
That was just, I don't know why, but there's been some like benchmark moments that I've had here
on this show.
Scaring people.
Craig Gass is here. Let us take a quick break so we don't get too late, and we'll be back. Craig's going to be in town. Yeah, he's going to be at Side Splitters Wesley Chapel this weekend, right?
This weekend, Thursday through Saturday. And I am putting out a comedy special in 2 months. I'm putting out 2 comedy specials this year. The first one is me just making fun of Kiss for an hour. That's the whole show. That's the entire show. So you're going to hear at the end of the show this weekend a piece I've been working on called "I Think Gene Simmons is Going to Kill Me."
Oh, good. So, okay. All right, good. All right, we'll be back more with Craig Gass. It's the Mike Calta Show. This is 102.5 The Bone. I don't know. I have to say is definitely on the list. Like, there's people we kind of know from the show over the years, like, "Oh, yeah, we've had you on the show." And then there's people we're friends with. You're definitely in the friends list of the category.
Thank God. I've been insecure about that.
But I'm saying that at the same time, Craig has some of the most amazing stories and moments in his life, none of which I know are true. So I'm just not saying that they're lies. I'm just saying that the best part is I don't really know what's true and what's not, and I don't really feel like I want to know. I got to tell you, all your things they all seem to pan out. I'm not sure.
I was so scared. Last week, I texted Mike and I said, I go, "Hey, dude, you going to Metallica on Friday? And he goes,
Why did you say it like Lars?
dude, are you going to Metallica with Craig and his whole retarded family? and Mike goes, nah, too crowded. And
Too many people.
Too many people. And I go, it's not crowded in the Snake Pit. If you want to get hooked up. And he goes, are you serious? And I go, yeah, dude, bring a friend. Felt like the cool guy.
Yeah.
I have a friendship with Lars, which I really didn't maintain over the years, but I know a bunch of people in Metallica, and I'm like, yeah, I'll hook it up. And Mike goes, dude, hold on. Give me a couple minutes. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm in. And I'm like, cool. I start texting.
So now let me tell you real quick. So my wife my wife and I were going to Winter Haven, Florida, which is between here and Orlando, and it's a know-nothing town. Sorry, Winter Haven. But my daughter has a volleyball tournament.
Okay.
I don't want to go. And we had to get a hotel and spend the night, and then I got to go watch 19 of the worst volleyball games ever in my life. So it's awful. It's absolutely awful. And I don't want to go. So I have to gauge her on whether or not if I don't go to Winter Haven, if she's going to be furious or not. And she was like, no, I don't care. I have to go either way. And then plus, yeah, go to Metallica. Like, she was so cool about it. So I was like, then I was like, yeah, all right, I'm in. I'm 100% in. The problem also is that if it's 2 nights, I can't go on Sunday night. I got to get up too early in the morning on Monday. Right. But I really do want to go. And then I'm starting to get that FOMO feeling like it's coming up and I'm not sure I'm going or whatever. So once you hit me up, I was feeling good about it.
But what I hit you up with and what I said I could do was the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
And then I started contacting all my friends with Metallica who all started shutting me down.
Oh, no.
And everyone kept telling me, dude, Snake Pit, the fire marshal has cut our Snake Pit in half.
Yeah.
They won't allow us to have...
Which, thank God for the fire marshal, because it was wonderful in there.
But along the way, I'm sitting there going, all the way up until Friday afternoon, maybe even Friday early evening, I didn't even know if I could pull it off.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried about coming in the studio because I'm not going to be able to pull off what I said I was going to pull off. And all I pictured was, number one, actually getting, this is where my head went. Hey, dude, yeah, it's a busy week. We're not going to be able to have you on. And then I was going to listen to the show, and you're going to be like, Craig's full of it. He lied. He said he was going to get me until there's that whole aspect of it, too. You don't even believe that my family's real.
Right.
So it's like, so if I don't come.
Just another thing.
Yeah.
If I don't come through with this, everything's over. My relationship with you is over. Friday.
At one point, you did say, "I have not heard from Craig yet."
I did. Because
it's open ended.
So everybody calls me an optimistic liar because I say like, "Hey, Craig, I'm going to try and come to your show on Friday." It's not that I don't want to,
right?
But they know there's no way I'm going, even though I say I want to go,
right?
So when I said I'm going to Metallica, they were like, "What is the percentage that you're really going to go?" And I was like, at one point, I was like at 80%. And then the next day, I was like, I don't know, I hadn't heard from Craig yet, so we're down to like 65%. No, I'm not backing out, but my likelihood was dropping down percentage-wise. But I was never get mad.
You know what's funny is now I'm going back through our text messages,
right?
And there was one day when we didn't talk, and you just said, "Hey, what's the latest?"
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Yeah, just checking. Just want to see what's going on. And I'm like, well, I'm being told, and I kept giving you updates.
Yeah.
I'm being told that the Snake Pit has been cut in half, but we are officially in. I have tickets and I have backstage passes.
Right.
Actually, I wasn't even sure if I had backstage passes that point.
I don't know.
So, but then eventually, it all worked out.
Yeah.
I got passes. Friend of mine that runs lights for Metallica, he sits above the stage, and he said, "Bring your buddy. We'll hang out at my lighting design thing," and so we hung out with him and watched him.
That was pretty cool.
That
was really cool.
That was really cool. And then
talk to him and then
spill a drink on it. Hey, what's going on?
The whole stadium just goes dark.
He had been there since Tuesday, and I was telling them how they sent the steel team in first to build the thing out, and then he comes in and he spends the night in the stadium. It was pretty interesting to see all that stuff.
Yeah, and then we walked down to go into the Snake Pit, and I just posted the video, and I was like, "Is this okay to post this right now?"
Yeah.
And you go, "Yeah, go ahead." But I have the video of us in the Snake Pit, and I tried to just get a shot of the top of Mike's head, and Mike is looking at Rob Trujillo and Kirk Hammett standing like 5 feet above your head.
I mean, I don't even know if it was 5 feet. I mean, I could have reached up and grabbed their ankles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were right there. I said to my wife, I go, at one point, we were watching from the lighting area, and that was good. I mean, we were watching the whole show. It was great. I go, and then the next point, I'm able to identify moles on James's face. Like that's how close we were. Like I could see he missed a spot shaving. Like it's unreal. Because at one point I talked to Lars from the floor.
Yeah.
When they had that little kid that they lifted up, and Lars was like, "Where's the kid?" And I go, "Right here." And he goes, "Is that him?" And I go, "Yeah, that's him." Like I'm talking to Lars right now. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was the video. I just posted the video. It's at Craig Gass Comedy. You can see the video of Metallica standing on top of Mike's
and
head.
my bald head. I look so bald. I didn't know that was my head. At first when I saw it. Yeah. I was like,
You
holy
don't see
cow.
that angle.
Yeah.
Check out that unflattering angle at Craig Gass Comedy with 2 S's. By the way, the Make-A-Wish thing, I remember the first time when I first started to become friends with Lars, I went to a show in Denver, and in the middle of the show, his assistant found me and said, "Hey, Lars wants you to come back to his drum kit." So we walk. It wasn't the stage they have now. It was a traditional stage at one end of the stadium.
Right.
And go up to the stage, and behind his drum kit was a bar. It was a bar set up with glass doors that were tinted so you couldn't see into the bar, but we could see out. And I'm standing up there looking inside to the stadium of 60,000 people where the Broncos play, when a kid walked up next to me with his family, and the kid looked like a special needs kid.
Right.
And during a break in the show, Lars comes into the bar and he goes, "Hey, man, how's the retarded family?" No, he goes, "Hey, man, what's up? You having fun?" And he goes, "Are you Tim? Are you Tim? Hey, Tim, I heard you're a drummer. You want to play some drums for Metallica tonight? Come on, Tim." And he brought this kid up onto his drum kit and then held his arms. And he goes, "Get ready. Here we go. You ready?" He goes, "Bop, bop, 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 da, 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 da." And he held the kid's arms up. 60,000 people go, and the kid is holding his drumsticks, and I was like, "Oh my God."
That's pretty awesome.
And a week later, I talked to Steve, who was Lars's assistant, and I said, "Dude, I meant to ask you that there was a kid who came into that area that Lars brought on stage. Is that a Make-A-Wish kid?" He goes, "Oh, yeah. We actually had to stop doing that." And I said, "Stop doing Make-A-Wish?" And he goes, "We've been doing that the whole tour, where every city, we always do Make-A-Wish meet and greets." And Lars started doing a thing at the beginning of this tour where he would grab one kid and go, "Hey, do you play drums? You want to come up and play drums?" And he would do it at every city. Word started getting out to other Make-A-Wish families. And when they'd come into the meet and greet, it was an immediate crush of like, "Hey, Lars, this is my son. I want him to be the one to play drums." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, man, yeah, sure." And then it just became it started to become a competition.
Yeah.
And then people going, "Hey, but can my kid play one song?" And it's like, oh man,
I know. How do you say no to it?
Yeah, it starts out as such a organic thing,
right,
and then turn into something.
I don't know how they do it, but I do. Like John Cena lives here, and John Cena is the #1 celebrity for Make-A-Wish. He's done more than anybody else. And the horrible thing though is that John Cena like does these things and then has to take that with him. He has to leave knowing, and then he'll probably hear about it in 3 months that kid died. You know what I mean? He's going to have to hear about it. And I don't know that I could do that. I really don't. My wife used to work in a field where she dealt with a lot of abused kids, and she'd come home and she'd be all wound up and she'd be telling me these stories. And I looked at her and I go, "You got to stop. You got to stop telling me, because I'm gonna end up out there killing these kids' parents and going crazy, because it's getting me all frustrated." So I don't know. Listen, I am. I'm not even going to lie and say that I'm coming out to the show. I'm not saying that doesn't mean I won't come. I'm just not going to say that I'm coming. I'd like to stop by because I haven't seen you do stand up and in a long time. Well, maybe ever. I don't think I've ever gone to a club to do this show. Yeah, but I also haven't been up to the Wesley Chapel, and I think that might be a fun time.
Yeah, I keep hearing it's a great room. I love what I'm hearing about the setup over there.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to check the place out. I do want to comment on something that you talked about before I walked in the studio. You guys were talking about this crazy. Was that a local story about the guy from Saudi Arabia who
at the strip club?
Yeah. He called the cops and said, "Hey, I just wanted to call because this woman won't have sex."
He did not get his sex. He paid $300.
I gave the stripper $300 and she wasn't have sex with me.
Cops is my favorite TV show of all time.
Right.
And I can point to that. Reminded me of, there's episodes that you'll see where people will flag down the cops and go, "Excuse me, officer. Yeah. I gave this person $20 for crack cocaine, and they didn't give me it. And it's like, you did what?
Yeah.
I gave $20 crack cocaine. Okay, so let me just want to be clear. You're trying to purchase crack cocaine. That is correct. But they didn't give me crack cocaine. They go, okay, put your hands behind your back. Like, what?
Yeah,
and they're shocked when that happens. Favorite episode of Cops I can point to as the hardest I've ever laughed in my life.
Okay.
And I can say that because I had a physical reaction that I didn't know was possible. The episode was this officer. It opens up with an officer in a patrol car, and he goes, "We're responding to a domestic that apparently is taking place in this field over here." So it's already hilarious.
Right.
They can't afford a house to fight in. They're fighting in a big open field. Cop gets out, pulls out his flashlight, and he goes, "Hey, what's going on over there?" Couple turns around. The woman, her mouth is covered in blood. Top row of teeth are missing. Bottom row of teeth are cracked.
Okay.
This guy clearly just assaulted this woman. And the cop goes, "All right, what's going on here?" The woman turns around, starts telling exactly what's going on. When the guy jumps in on camera and goes, wait, hold up. You better tell him the truth. I will knock you out. Like on camera. And the cop goes, "Whoa." He goes, "Wait, here, ma'am, you sit on the hood of my car. All right, sir. You're so eager to tell me your side of the story. What's going on here?" And the guy goes,
"Look, I ain't gonna lie. Because I push her, okay? I push her. So what? I push her. But then she assaulted me."
And the cop goes, "She assaulted you?" And he goes,
"She assaulted me."
and the cop goes, "With what?" And he goes, "Her face," and I farted. I laughed so hard. I farted. I didn't even know that was possible to laugh so hard.
She headbutted him.
Was like, that was like the most healthy laugh I've ever had in my life. Second most favorite episode of Cops, and I've actually talked about this whenever I do press in Indianapolis, to do shows in Indianapolis. I have said during TV appearances there, "Sir, if that was you, I'm a huge fan, and I want to meet you. I would love to invite you. I'll give you as many tickets as you want to my comedy shows this weekend." It was an episode, Indianapolis. There was a robbery at a strip mall. The cops pull behind this strip mall, and there's a white guy, tall, slanky, goofy-looking guy,
Right.
Sitting on the curb crying. And the cop pulls up and goes, "Sir, are you the one who called about the robbery?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was me." And he goes, "All right, just tell me what happened." And he goes, "I was locking up for work, and this gentleman came up to me, and he said, and forgive my language, but he said, 'Give me your goddamn money.'" That's what he says. And I said, "Sir, I don't want no problems with you." And then that gentleman over there, he grabbed me from behind. They pan over. There's a dude in the parking lot laying, like, you know those concrete slabs that you bump your tires against in a parking lot?
Yeah.
He's in between two of them, and he's covered in blood. And he goes, "That guy grabbed me from behind. I'm a fifth degree black belt, okay?" And as soon as he touched me, and they go, "Sir, what happened?" He goes, "Basically, I kicked the crap out of everybody. I didn't want to. I feel bad. And they go, "Sir, are you okay?" And he goes, "I'm fine. I'm going to need some new shoes." They pan down to his sneakers.
Blood.
Dude, every time he shifts his body weight from his left foot to the right foot, his sneakers are squishing out blood. And I remember being on the edge of the bed watching it, and I had a glass of chocolate milk, and I looked at my girlfriend and I go, "Babe, are you watching this guy?" And she goes, "I'm reading." And I was like,
You're missing the best
like,
kung
this is
fu
great,
ever.
like, come on, man. I want to see a spinoff of this guy. This guy, like, he is just a perfect human being. All he wants to do is just live his life. But if you mess with him, he'll hospitalize you. And then he'll feel terrible.
Then he'll feel so sad about it.
He'll show up at the hospital with flowers, and he'll feel terrible about it.
You know, we punched Carmen one time so hard she farted.
Yeah.
It's true.
Is that true?
Yeah, we used to do football punches where we'd have the winner would punch the loser for every win they have over them on our football picks. And Carmen lost, and she went to get punched, and somebody punched her and hit her so hard she farted.
John Brennan
John
did.
Brennan,
And
our
he-
producer.
yeah. He
Audible
punched it out
on
of
the
me.
air?
She,
No, you couldn't hear it, but
yeah, but then you
could
kind of smell it right away.
Yeah.
I think it was you. Did you say? Yeah.
Because I was standing next to her, and I go, "Oh, did you just fart?" And she was like, "Yeah," when he hit me.
John punched the fart out of her.
I had said a few years ago that a really interesting segment would be to just read Carmen's DMs. And I remember you saying that Carmen actually gets like, I think professional athletes or like.
So, somebody. I for years, I wanted to do a coffee table book called "Get a Load of D's," and it was just all the D pics that Carmen gets sent, unsolicited D pics.
You gave me a title that I took, which is I have two podcasts. One is with Chris Kale from Five Finger Death Punch, which is called Beardo and Weirdo, and then there's a storytelling podcast where, because of conversations we've had, where you don't believe what I'm telling you.
Yes.
I am retelling all these stories about living at Eddie Van Halen's house, being invited to NASA, being on the field of the Super Bowl, and I'm doing it with all the witnesses who were there.
Oh, that's great.
And you gave me the title. You said you should call it "I Swear This Is True." And that's what I call it. It's called "I Swear This Is True." And I'm like 3 episodes in, and I'm dropping the 4th one this week with hanging out at the World Series when Bill Murray showed up behind me when the Cubs were.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I always tell my kids, if I were to die suddenly, know that I lived the greatest life ever. Like, I've done things where, I don't know, I'd want to write it in a book because I don't know that other people would care, but I could sit there and just think about all the things I did in my life. I've had a hell of a life,
It's
so
crazy.
Yeah, so when you tell some of these stories, I know that they're true, but it's just hard to believe all these things.
Yeah, and you're also, the way you handle yourself makes me confident that when I do introduce you to Pearl Jam, that you're going to be able to handle it well.
Yeah.
Because I had there was that one night when Mike and I were both at the Pearl Jam show at Wrigley Field, and I came off the stage and I gave him set lists and the guitar picks.
Yep.
And then that night I had a friend of mine, Lou, who used to work with Brewer on his show, now works with Jay Okerson and Bobby on their show. And Lou is the biggest Pearl Jam fan in the world. And he goes, "Man, can you get me to..." And I go, "Yeah, man, you know what? Let's do it for that show. I'll bring you on stage." And he's cool. He's handling it until Mike McCready's wife, Ashley, walks over. And I go, "Hey," "this is my friend Lou, by the way. And Lou, this is Ashley. This is Mike McCready's wife." And she goes, "Hey, Lou." And he goes, "I love your husband so much. I have a necklace that I made from..." And I was looking at him going,
"This is Black Lou?
What are you doing?" "Not Black Lou. No, this is White Lou." And I go, "What are you doing, dude? What are you doing?" And he goes, "I caught this from Mike once and I made it into a necklace." And she goes, "Oh," and he goes, "I love your husband so much." And she just goes, "I love him too. Good to see you, Craig." And all I can think is like, we're about to get thrown off the stage. We're about to get thrown off the stage. I know that when this moment happens, you're not only going to be cool about it, you're going to wait till... What I usually do is I wait till after it's over, then I freak out.
Yeah, I'm not a freak out kind of guy. I've been in some situations where I was like, oh boy, I feel like I could freak out. I was in the George Steinbrenner suite at Yankee Stadium, and the entire cast of The Sopranos came in, and I was like, "This is But there was one time where I thought I might have died, and this was my heaven. Like, everything that I wanted to do was all in the same room. You know what I mean? Like, had there been any large-breasted women there, I would be like, "This, we've now crossed the line." But being that it was all dudes, I've been in some situations where. So one time, this is the best. I'm at the Late Show with David Letterman, okay? The Stengel brothers are friends of mine. I go to visit them. I watch a taping of the show, and then I go upstairs to the offices, and I hang out with them. Coolest thing ever. I go to leave. I walk out of the building. The minute I walk out and I make a left down Broadway, my phone rings. It's Big Pussy from The Sopranos. "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm actually in New York right now." "Where are you at?" "I'm in New York. I just filmed the TV commercial. We're going to dinner. Come meet us for dinner." I was like, "Okay." Gives me the address. I show up, and it's like him and 40% of the cast of The Sopranos, the guys that like background guys like Carlo and all these other guys that is Big Pussy is the main guy at the dinner. They all shot a TV commercial for an alarm company about robbing houses and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they all went out to celebrate. The director took them all out to dinner. So now I'm eating, and they're all telling me these stories about how they got, like, the one guy how he got the job in Goodfellas and how the other guy. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Yeah. So I got stories. I got things that have gone down where make me go realize this is one hell of a life. But yeah.
And have you ever had a moment like that where you're in a really cool spot and then you ruined it because you tried to cross up?
I am the last one to ruin. I will sit there with my mouth shut until I will not be that guy
and just take it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do the same thing when I'm in situations like that. I just kind of try to read back. But every once in a while.
When I was a kid, when I was 13 years old, I got my first job working in a bakery. Andrew's Bake Shop in Staten Island. And my mother grew up with Andrew. So it was my Uncle John, Andrew, his brother, and a couple other guys, and me, and I'm 13. And my mother gave me the best advice before I got to work. She said, listen to me. She's like, these are all guys that have grew up together and know each other and are going to be bonding with each other and talking. She's like, don't involve yourself in their conversation.
Wow,
she's like, she's like, let them be men and you do your thing over here. Just keep your mouth shut. And I was like, all right.
It's funny because when you describe, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but when you describe that that moment of being around those guys and being invited by Big Pussy, and then it's all those guys. The night that I found out about the Tracy Morgan orgy, Tracy, the punchline to me is the buttholes and toes.
Yeah.
So I always stop right there with the story. But the next stop in the story is that Tracy said, I'm having a party tonight. You come to my party, it's going to get crazy. And he goes, I'm at this hotel, come up to the penthouse. And I go, okay. And this is like 2001. No, it was at 2000. I just got my first camera phone.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I think I got invited to an orgy and I have a camera phone. Like I'm going to take pictures of this orgy. And I remember I went into the green room and I saw Chappelle and I go, Dave, Tracy Morgan invited to his party tonight. I think it's going to be an orgy. And Chappelle goes, that's cool, man. Wait, did you say Tracy Morgan? You know that guy's crazy, right? And I go, yeah, but I think it's going to be an orgy, and I'm going to go. So I go to the hotel, and then as I'm getting into the hotel, I'm realizing, wait a minute, how am I going to get to the penthouse? Because you usually have to have a special key.
Right.
And again, the elevator, I push PH, and it just lights up, and it starts going up, and I'm like, oh my God, the door opens up. It's a bar. The penthouse is just a bar.
Oh.
And Tracy Morgan, by the way, got thrown out of Caroline's that night. And so the guy he got thrown out of Caroline's is with him at the bar, and it's just the two of them. And I go, hey, and Tracy goes, hey, you made it to my party. And I go, what? And it was
just no buttholes and toes, just buttholes.
But there's moments where I'm thinking in a moment, don't ruin this. Just let it happen. Let it happen. And then sometimes someone will try to lead me down a path that I now know to not go down. Because like when people go, hey, do impressions for us. And I go, this situation, it's not, I was running out of a Guns N' Roses concert. They were starting to play, what's the last song they always play? Paradise City is the last song. And I start running out to get out to the car so I can bail. I'm running backstage. I have copies of my last comedy special that I'm handing out to people. Hey, put this on your bus, And I walk by this room that says Lenny Kravitz dressing room. And the door is wide open, and there's a bunch of people in there partying. And I'm like, you know what? I knock on the door and I go, hey, sorry to bother you guys. My name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian. I wanted to give you some copies of my comedy special. And they go, you're a comedian? Hey, get in here, man. Hey, tell us some jokes. And I go, nah, man, I'm not going to. But I'm going to put this comedy special right here. And you guys put this on your buses. And I'm usually funny. You hear me on Howard. I've done voices on Family Guy. And you guys are going to love it. He goes, no, man, come on, tell us some jokes. And I go, I'm mostly known for doing impressions. He goes, who's your best impression? I go, probably Tracy Morgan. And he goes, do some Tracy Morgan. And I go, all right. And he goes, wait. Shh. Hey, this guy's a comedian. He's going to tell some jokes. And now a room full of black people that have not been told what this guy is about to do is an impression of Tracy Morgan. Start hearing a white guy doing a black voice. And it was silence, complete silence. And I went, all right, man. Well, enjoy the comedy special. And there was a stack of comedy special DVDs that was on the corner of a table, and there was a garbage can right next to the table. And I was like, I know as I'm going to my car, they're just like, yeah, man, that guy. You got to read the room, man. You got to read the room. But yeah.
All right, listen, go see Craig Gass. Is going to be at Side Splitters Wesley Chapel this weekend, 960-1197 or sidesplitterscomedy.com. You can buy your tickets in advance. Go see him. If you haven't been there, great room in Wesley Chapel. Maybe I'll see you this weekend.
You should, because there's going to be at least on one of the shows there's somebody I want to connect you with.
All right, good.